no one's coming to save you. And we've said this before. No one is coming to save you. This economy, sis, the bag, secure it and know how to keep it.
What are the key things in your life that require the momentum of community-powered finance? And really think about it.
Hello and welcome to the To My Sisters podcast. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Renee, and we are your online big sisters and hosts of the To My Sisters podcast.
We are all about promoting the wellness, growth and development of a community of sisters across the world.
And in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about the schmoney, the bag, the peas, the yen, the dollar, the cedis, the naira, the GBP. Insert currency here.
Insert currency here.
And how to glow up financially. With 4 months left of 2021, how can you ensure you're in the best possible position to be a babe with a bag and make smarter decisions when it comes to your finances?
A babe with a bag. Isn't that a good one? I love that.
I like it.
I love that. Let's go.
Before we get into that, of course, we have a dilemma that we need to go into, Miss Courtney, and it's quite the dilemma. It is quite the conundrum.
Let's get into it.
It is quite the ripper, it is.
Let's get into it.
Hey ladies.
Hello sister.
So, my dilemma is I can't stop sleeping with men.
Yeah, it's a stump. It's a bit of a...
It's quite...
That one will stump you.
Yeah. It started in summer 2020 after I broke up with my boyfriend of 2 years. He was the first guy I had slept with, and to this day, I'm so happy I waited to lose my virginity to him because he was so loving, caring, and patient with me, as it was my first time and I was only 18.
Wow.
And he never made me feel pressured or insecure at any moment. Fast forward, and I am now a Jezebel. After the breakup, I wanted to experience dating as I had never really dated before, and I took it too far. I started having so many casual hookups and my body count rose significantly. Looking back, I don't regret sleeping with any of the men. However, now that I'm turning 22, it's not a life I want to be living. Courtney, your face. It's not a life I want to be living anymore. The guys I sleep with, I don't even want anything long term with them. But when I question myself about it in my head, I literally tell myself, but why shouldn't I? I'm at a point now where I actually don't care about my body count. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. I'm also working towards trying to be a better Christian, and I feel like I won't be doing myself justice if I carry on behaving the way I am.
Okay, so
you know that meme with like Stormzy when he's like,
because it's like shout out to Stormzy. Okay, firstly, don't ever call yourself a Jezebel.
Absolutely
again.
What I was thinking.
To call yourself a Jezebel, to call anyone a Jezebel is such a loaded term. And obviously it's a spiritual term, but it is used a lot to shame women and it's often then not explained. So just remove that from your vocabulary, because unless you need deliverance, that's not what we're going to call you, okay? However, I really love what you're saying, because your current behavior is unhealthy because it doesn't align with your goals. It's not leaving you fulfilled. It's not making you a better person. In fact, it's taking from you. And I think that it's important that you've acknowledged that. You have to get to the root issue of why you keep going to these men and why you keep putting yourself in this situation. It could be, especially if you're doing this on the back of a breakup, it could be that you're searching for intimacy. I'm not a licensed therapist. None of us are. We cannot diagnose you. We do not know what's going on. I think therapy would be a great place for you to start on this journey as well. Pray and go to a therapist. 100%. BetterHelp.com/To My Sisters for affordable and accessible therapy. We have used betterhelp.com, but going to therapy will help you identify what has made me get to this point. Because this is quite a lot. This is quite, for you to say, I can't stop, that's a very big statement to make, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Identify, why am I here? What am I looking for? What do I think this is going to solve or provide for me? Because sex, depending on how you view it, and especially from the Christian view, it's really important. It's really something that holds a lot of weight. It's a big thing. And if you are finding it hard to control your own impulses, control your own behavior, it's something that you really need to go and inspect, because it's not this isn't something to be taken lightly, right? I know you've sent it to us at the dilemma, but you need to go and seek further help. We're not even qualified enough to help you with this. But one thing I will say is you can find freedom from this. It will take time, maybe, and it will take a lot of work for you to get over it. You need to start holding yourself accountable and realizing what are the circumstances and what are the triggers for this behavior? How do I kind of hold myself back from them? How do I allow myself to actually flourish? Because it's not happening in happenstance. Like it's not just happening by coincidence. There's a series of actions that take place before you end up sleeping with somebody. And now you need to inspect, okay, what are my triggers? What am I looking for in these men? What am I looking for in the beds of these men? What do I think that this is going to fix for me? What am I using it? How am I using this as a coping mechanism? Because that could be what it is. Am I looking for safety? Am I looking for a way to exert power? What is it that I am using this for? It's so difficult because sex is something, especially because you enjoy it, it's hard to stay away from. Like it's a very addictive thing. And if this is a case of like addiction, or this is a case, whatever it may be, I don't want you to see it as I can't stop, because that is that limiting language. You can stop. You just need to figure out how to stop. And I don't think I am fully qualified to even give you the play for play on how this can be done. But I know that you can stop. But yeah, my whole big thing is don't call yourself a Jezebel. 100. Please don't, because it's such a loaded term, and I don't want you to have an unhealthy perspective of sex and yourself and your body. But there is a need to problematize this behavior because it doesn't align with your goals, your morals, or your principles. That's going to take work. So in summary, please go and seek professional help.
Well, Ms. Courtney, you really put it in a way, and it was quite fantastic. They got good stuff and whatnot. But no, I think that was the first alarm bell was designating yourself as a Jezebel. And even the language that you use when you're talking about sex here, casual hookups and, body counts and stuff like that. If you are self-identifying yourself as a Christian, you'll need to realize that these are very loaded terms and that it's very important, like when you are looking at something like sex, to make sure that you've got a real grasp as to what sex means in alignment with your values and principles, right? Like, what is the purpose of sex? And being Christian and casual hookups, the two don't align, sis. You need to like really sit down with that. And I really want you to know that regardless of what sexual activity you've been involved with or experiences you've had, you also have worth. I think sometimes when we throw around the words like Jezebel or like slut and whore, there's this whole idea of like, I'm worthless anyways, or, these things don't matter to me, when they do and they should.
I've gone too far.
So understand, just because you've gone too far, this doesn't mean that you can't stop. As Courtney said, there's this whole idea of power and this addiction having power over you. I want you to know that it's not the thing that controls you. You can control the thing. Okay. Especially being a Christian, understand that this is about power, and this is about you reclaiming your power in a healthy way, in alignment with your principles, your value, and your faith. This thing does not have power over you. It shouldn't have power over you. As Courtney said, we're not licensed therapists yet, but we're not licensed.
It's so hard.
It's actually, we're not licensed therapists. We can give you advice insofar as being your sisters and, cultivating a community. But when it comes to something like this and to this extent, we genuinely want you to get the help that you need, because we think it's important. And particularly as a woman that we think has value, has worth, as a woman that has so much potential when it comes to having healthy relationships and in everything else that you can do, I think it's very important that you actually seek therapy, as well as you also seek, potentially, if you can, spiritual counsel. If there's anybody within if you do have a church community, but if you don't, any kind of like spiritual accountability that's close enough to you, I would definitely encourage you to seek both kind of like spaces and those kind of those kind of folks to help you out in this situation, because this is also not something that you have to deal with alone
at all.
I know it can kind of feel like, oh, this is something that has power over me and I'm just dealing with it alone. But I would definitely say seek help in those areas, because it's really, really important that you feel like you have people around you. Because again, I'm not a therapist, but as Courtney was saying, there's something there insofar as you're looking for something in these kind of sexual acts and, you know, activities and engagements that is not being fulfilled elsewhere in your life, perhaps. And it's really important that you actually do the work of identifying where those areas are and channeling it through something else. I can't dictate to you what to do insofar as, like, you know, I don't want to police your sexual activity or anything like that, but I would encourage you as much as possible to hold off and perhaps limit your engagement with, you know, men that you've been engaging with, like casually and through like hookups and stuff. And just seek help as soon as possible. And we say this in a loving way, not in a, you know, sometimes you can get, you tell somebody, it's like, oh, seek help. This is because we genuinely think that this will require more than your willpower to overcome. This will actually require community and support. And we believe that you can get over this. Like, we 100%. Really, really believe that you can 100%. Overcome this. So we're sending you lots and lots of love, sis. Like, we genuinely care about you. We genuinely love you. And we want you to, like, see better, do better, and make sure that you have a healthy relationship with yourself and other people. So please prioritize actually getting the help that you need. Even in terms of, like, I guess, advice, therapy, obviously we'll link BetterHelp down below, but we may also link a couple of resources insofar as things that you can check out.
For sure. I think another aspect as well, even leaning on the community aspect, is do not feel shame around this. You've identified that this behavior is problematic for religious reasons. Sometimes because of our faiths and because of our religions, we can feel a lot of shame as women. And that's why I think for me, the Jezebel thing is like red lights, because it's like you can feel so much shame surrounding your past experiences or your current behavior and your current experiences. And it's hard to find healing in shame. It's really hard because you need to find community and be able to confess your situation, be able to confess your behaviors and what it is you are doing and your actions. And so find places where you do not feel shame. And if you are in the place where you're like, I feel so shamed for what it is I have done, find liberation in the fact that, like you've done to us and like you can do to your other sisters and like you can do to people who are in your real life, not just online people, or to your therapist who is invested in your life, or your spiritual mentor who is invested in your life and in your growth and is committed to be with you throughout this journey, because it's not something that's going to happen instantaneously. You need to find people who will also make sure you do not feel shame and what will not shame you, and will not make you feel as though you, like we were saying, you're too far gone. Because you're not. You are really, really not. Like, I just want to encourage you. What's so beautiful about faith and what's so beautiful about this experience and this journey is that there is so much grace. There is so much patience for you to overcome whatever it is that you need to overcome in order to live up to what God has created for you to be, and who that and the standards that he sets for you. And I think what's beautiful about, I guess, our faith is that it's not just about living up to this image and perfecting yourself and cleaning yourself up. It's actually about letting a different power rule your life. It's about realizing that you are in control of your own actions, and that you can die to your flesh and die to yourself every day. And the things that you know do not serve you, do not serve God, and do not serve your community and the people that you love around you, you can deny those things. You can say no to those things. And it takes a while to feel like you have that control, but that control is a fruit of the Holy Spirit, and it can be within you. Biggest man thing, like it can, and it's challenging. It's really challenging. But this journey, I think one thing that consoles us is the fact to know that we have the power to do hard things. And we have comfort in those hard things, and we have peace in those hard things, and we have assurance of victory in those hard things. And so we remind you of that. We assure you of your victory over this situation. And we hope this has helped you, but also we are here to continuously help you and to continuously learn and grow. 100. But please find people in your real life who can do it side by side with you, because we can't, right from here. You know,
girl, We love you, man.
We do. You're not a Jezebel.
You're
a
not.
daughter of God.
We've already shared our opinions insofar as reclaiming certain words that are used, against women in a derogatory manner. We don't really believe in all of that at all. So even this whole, slut, whore, Jezebel, B word, none of that in this community.
At all.
Like that. And we think it's important that, as we are referring to each other as women as well, we're supportive, we are positive, and we use terms that actually uplift other women as opposed to bringing them down. And sometimes that means forging new definitions and new terms and stuff like that. So just for all the sisters out there, listen, we don't refer to ourselves as these things, and we encourage you not to refer to yourselves as these things either, because you're not.
You're not. God don't see you that way.
Can you imagine?
Girl, put your crown back on.
You better. We hope that helped, and please take advantage of all the references and help. You can do it.
You can.
But moving swiftly on to the main creme de la creme, the
pièce de résistance.
Oh, the magnum opus is given. It's given. It's given. My gosh, it gave what it was supposed to give, and we got what we were supposed to get. But we're talking about the money, baby, because ain't no brokies out here. We ain't trying to be broke babes. We're trying to be babes with a bag.
Babes. So we need to hashtag that. Babes with a bag.
Get in the bag. But Miss Courtney.
That is me.
Why is it important that we should I really popped that. Popped that real quick. Come here. Why is it important, especially in today's world, in right now? Why is it important that we have public conversations as well as private conversations as women about money?
Listen, I think we've actually had this kind of conversation before. We have an episode, and we need. It's not on YouTube because it's on the podcast. Shout out to the podcast listeners; they've been riding with us since last year, November.
Boy,
if you are new to if you are here on YouTube, there is 20 episodes that you've missed out on. The sister's been rocking with us since November. So head over to Spotify, Apple, Google, any podcast platform to listen. We have an episode called Building Wealth and Legacies or something like that. Yeah. And we were talking about this. Women, it's time. Arise and shine. Wake up. Shine your eye to the fact that there's so many possibilities out there for who it is you can be and become, but also for the fact that so much opportunity out there to build your own legacy, independent of a man, independent of your father. Times have changed. Hashtag, as much as we hate the term, boss babes, arise. Because you have that power now to form your own career, legacy, empire, and you have a purpose. And so I think it's important to get in talking about money, in talking about career, in talking about financial literacy and being stronger financially. It's important because it builds the confidence in women to know that they can actually do it, that they have the right to do it. And also so that we're not wasting what it is that we have in the guise and the idea that someone else is going to come and save us with better financial knowledge or better financial resources. I think women can feel very ashamed about talking about their money and their money moves and their beliefs about money and how much money they're making. And I think it also leads to a lot of secrecy within communities. And that hinders opportunities to be passed around, especially opportunities that come through knowledge. Because if you don't know, you can't do. And so if people don't pass on what they know and what they have discovered, you then struggle with the same things they have overcome. And I think that that's an injustice to do, especially within sisterhood. We need to be talking about, this is how you get the bag up, because this is how I got my bag up. And I don't want you to carry last. I'm not outrunning you. And I think it lends as well to kind of this scarcity mentality. I think when patriarchy pits you against women as competitors in other aspects of life, the way you look, your femininity and stuff like that, it carries over as well into money, because you become very competitive minded, especially in a capitalist society and capitalist system. So I think it's important to kind of create this idea of community and sisterhood and friendship by sharing our knowledge and understanding about money and about finance. Because we have money. We bought these clothes with money. We did these hairs with money, like all of that. So we need to know how to manage that. We need to know what the right decisions and what the most productive decisions are for ourselves and for our futures, especially as women who are trying to build a legacy as we are over here at TMS.
That's right.
So that's what I'd say. But how about yourself?
Love it. Love everything you had to say there, Courtney. I really enjoyed that.
Wow, where are all these accents coming from?
Back in my day. Right. So... fun fact about me. You know, when I was younger, I used to be doing up all of these accents because I used to just watch TV, and I was because I wanted to be what do you call it? Western super.
An actress.
Yeah, actrice. Back when I was younger. So this is how I'm manifesting.
That is dope though. You're good at them.
Thank you.
You are good at them.
Oh, my heart is swelling. But no, I literally love everything that you had to say. I love the fact that you touched on the capitalist part of money and patriarchy, and how sometimes conversations about women and about money are literally driven by competition, which leads to the secrecy, which means that when there's a lack of transparency, it becomes a lot harder to build and to create environments of trust such that we can actually go together and do this thing together. Fact. And I think even the whole idea of the boss babe narrative, it's always this lone wolf or this woman that was able to overcome stereotypes and get her money up and stuff like that.
Especially alone.
And it's like, even when you are up and you have money, surely the reason, part of the, enjoyment of the fruits of your labor is to do it in community with people. Like, I don't want to be rich alone.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to struggle.
I don't want to struggle.
I need your advice.
Like, there is actually no joy in seeing everyone around me struggle whilst I'm up.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun. You can't do things with people. And then you start to actually take on the burden of being the provider and all of that kind of stuff. So encouraging people in your community, especially women, to get their money up or to be more knowledgeable on finance means that all of you guys can chop and eat at the end of the day.
We can all prosper. So just removing this idea of individualism as it's wrapped up in money, particularly for women, is important. But also the whole conversation around, like, when we do talk about money, because money is seen as something that is masculine, or getting money or acquiring financial capital is seen as a masculine trait, some women shy away from it because they don't want to feel as though they're being too masculine, or they don't want to feel like they're being too dominant. When money is important. Money is what you need to, as you said, buy clothes, eat food. And it's important that you know how to handle it, because in this economy, babe, if you're not talking about money and being honest with yourself about your financial situation, you will carry last place. This economy is cutthroat. Okay, this is not fear mongering, what is it? Scaremongering, fear mongering.
Yeah, we can do both.
This is not to incite fear in you. Financially, we're in a really turbulent time.
Yeah,
after the pandemic, so many nations are in debt, all of that. The economy is bleeding. And yet, out of tragedy comes so much opportunity. And if you don't position yourself to take these opportunities, you'll be left behind. And we have known what it means to struggle financially. We're not trying to go back there. And so whilst people can be out here talking about, burn the capitalist system and, don't engage and when you've been broke, when you've been poor, it's hard to say that. It's easy to say when you got money. And yes, obviously things are not necessarily black and white. You can still hold the whole capitalism has its downfalls and it can be very exploitative, and still know that you still have to navigate and be maybe an unwilling participant of the existing system and infrastructure that actually exists. You can exist in that duality. For sure. But I think it's important to realize, as women, no one's coming to save you. And we've said this before. No one is coming to save you. This economy, sis, the bag, secure it and know how to keep it. Know how to safeguard it. Because sometimes for us, it's not even hard to make money. It's hard to keep
money. Money is leaving your account like water, but you're not concerned.
You're not alarmed.
The alarm bells. And even that, right? It's the money management sometimes that can be difficult, because we do definitely get questions as to, making money, but how do you actually retain it? And how do you multiply it as well? And I think even this whole idea of, you want your partner to be the key financial decision maker or the key breadwinner, how do you know if you're being taken for a fool if you don't know how to manage money? Because cool, he's making all the decisions, and cool, he's doing all of this stuff with his finances, and you're primarily dependent on him. But how do you know? What's the test? What is your reference, your frame of reference, if you know absolutely nothing about maths or money?
Yeah, and how do you know the best decision is being made for your money?
And how are you going to chime in if you don't know anything about money beyond it coming in and leaving?
It's a group effort.
It's a group effort. And I think what is also powerful, just going back to the whole community powered finance type thing, there's so much you can do with women that know how to manage money. So much you can do to come together. Like, you can start businesses, you can buy houses, you can do all sorts of, you can do a lot of stuff through actually having these conversations about money, but more importantly, learning from each other and working together. Yeah. Money seems so much like an individual thing. And it's like, part of the reason why I love TMS and what we're trying to do with this is we're going to be able to start doing the work and allowing women to feel comfortable enough to share those kind of things with each other, such that they can actually make some big money moves together.
Big money moves. An example of it is this podcast. If we did not bring together our resources, our knowledge, our skills, our ability, all of that, this podcast would not be happening. I can't do this by myself. Renee can't do this by herself. We need each other in order to bring something of impact and of purpose that is also of excellence to the table. And we're still getting better. We're still growing, producing this by ourselves. But if we couldn't share that information, if we couldn't pool our resources together, purpose would not be achieved.
Dusty.
And so in order for your sisters to help you achieve purpose, money is going to have to be a conversation.
We must. We absolutely must. We absolutely,
love that.
Absolutely must. But yeah, no, thinking about this whole, money management, and, savings and all of that jazz. This year particular has been
2021.
It's beat us up for many of the sisters. To be fair, it's been good in some parts, but for the most part,
it's better than last year.
Beat us.
Hopefully,
hell, 2020. 2020 was hell. 2021 has been quite turbulent.
Yeah.
What would you say are the main things you've learned about money this year?
That I can actually save, and before I just didn't want to. Because I used to just think like, I can't save. It's like, nah, sis, you didn't want to, be honest with yourself. Because now that I've actually forced myself to save, it's like, this is what I was capable of all this time. And I think that giving yourself the opportunity to actually thrive financially is really important, because it's easy to think that's just for people who have this amount of financial knowledge or who are coming from this particular background. But actually it's time for, like we're saying, no one's coming to save you, but also no one's coming to do the work for you. You actually need to, if you don't know something, get to know. And I spent a lot of 2020 educating myself about finances, educating myself about how to improve things like my credit score, how to save, what to invest in. And once I started opening up my mind and really doing the work in terms of researching and implementing that which I have heard, really important, because it's easy. We subscribe to things like The Break or to Penny Pal and all these places that are doing amazing financial education. And we subscribe to things that are doing financial education, and we like the tips, but we don't implement them. And you're basically just wasting your time. You might as well go and watch reality TV. Like it's not, you go and do something that you more enjoy, because if you're not going to implement it, what's the point in really knowing it? And you may think, but I'm not at a stage where I can implement it. You actually probably could. You're probably just thinking a bit too big picture, and the numbers may just be a bit too high. But I think it's super important to realize you have to implement what you have researched and what you've been told. And once I started doing that, I was just like, wow, this stuff actually works. And I'm actually capable of doing it. But it's so easy to tell yourself, I can't hit that level of financial freedom. I can't hit that level of savings. I can't, because of where I come from, how much I earn, all of that. But it's like, actually learn how you can leverage your position now, and also how to fill in the gap, right? Like we were talking about in the last episode of Doing the Work. How can you fill the gap between where you want to be and where you currently are? Yes, it may be baby steps, but you better start making them steps, especially if you know it's baby steps. Start working towards making those steps, and being consistent with it. So this year, I think I've really enjoyed what I've learned about money. I've really enjoyed knowing that you don't have to spend everything that you make. You really don't. There's a time for enjoyment. There's a time to save.
Yeah.
And most times they happen simultaneously, but there's an amount you should spend. There's an amount you should save. And I've been very intentional about that. I haven't been too rigid because I think I've learned how I work. And it's like, okay, I don't work too much to like zero down budgets, right? But what I do work well with is being disciplined to know I've got a standing order. I save this much consistently all the time. I spend the rest how I want and I deal with the consequences. But I also enjoy ways I want to. So this year has been a big eye opener, and I've actually hit financial goals this year.
Come on. Yay!
Crazy stuff. We thank the Lord.
No, I'm happy for you.
How about you, ma'am?
Well, first of all, I just want to say it's been like such a privilege seeing you hit those goals. Like, all right, listen, girl, I know you come far. You come real far.
Guys, I've gone so far.
Guys, you don't understand how much Miss Courtney has come far, and it's genuinely so inspiring.
You said you don't understand. But you don't.
You don't.
You don't. You don't.
It's so inspiring seeing it, and like even for me, I know this is literally just the beginning. Like there's certain things I know that you're gonna hit in the next 3 years, and you guys heard it here first, but I heard it here like first. I heard it here first.
I heard it first.
So yeah, no, honestly, like I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, sister.
I can't wait for more money to come your way.
Girl, I can't wait for more money to come your way.
I receive it. Hallelujah.
We have grown. We thank God.
But for me, what have I learned about money? The first thing I would say is I'm in control of my money.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we feel like our situations or the things that we do are in control of how we spend our money. So for me, really feeling that agency of like, I'm going to spend money on this.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm going to save on this, or like, I'm going to do this has been a big eye opener for me this year in particular.
Yeah.
Especially with like moving out. I really didn't think I'd be able to move out when I did. And I was kind of like, because, you know, I have to save for this, or I have to think about this, or all of these kind of like bills that I pay. But that kind of move, especially so early on in the year for me, was such an eye opener as to, actually, if I want to do this, I can do it.
Yeah.
Like money works for me. I don't work for money. If I decide I want to do this, then it's like, okay, cool. How can I pull my resources? Shift. Absolutely. How can I pull my money, or how can I like be smart about the way that I use money to my benefit? So as opposed to allowing other things to dictate how I use my money, I was kind of like, nah, I want to do this. So let me make money work for me. Which has been so, so beautiful. And even in the letting go of feeling guilty about spending money on myself has been liberating. Freeing. Because
to see it.
Listen, when you have a scarcity mentality, or when you grow up thinking that, you know, there's certain things that are priorities when it comes to money, it makes you so scared to spend money. I was afraid. Big time. Afraid, apostrophe DT. I was afraid. And I was afraid of spending money on things that I actually liked. And for a long time, that made it difficult for me to actually express love to myself, because it's like, I feel guilty when I, you know, buy myself a nice perfume, or like when I buy myself listen, I have been really enjoying spending money on myself. I got myself a new phone. I got myself a new, like, just lots of stuff that are really nice, obviously within reason.
Yeah, of course.
But for me, it was actually the opposite of like understanding that actually I am worth the investment, or I am worth, you know, spending money on, spending my money on. And that it's perfectly okay to do that. That has been really, really cool to like figure out about money this year. As well as figuring out that there's a lot of interesting ways to make money doing things you actually enjoy. Big time. Because I don't know if you guys know this about me. I hate working and doing things that I despise doing for money. I hate it. It's one of
our common grounds.
And maybe it's because I am optimistic and whatnot and all that jazz, but I genuinely, my life's dream is to do things that I actually enjoy and make money from it. And this year has definitely been pivotal in terms of the opportunities and like placing myself and engaging with people that I think are really dope. There are spaces in this world for you to make money doing things you actually really like.
And this is one of my personal philosophies. Like, I think you can like testify to this of me. I don't do things I don't want to do.
Yeah. Courtney would rather eat a denim jacket
and choke on it I don't do, and I get it. It's like, oh, but you need to understand the concept of sacrifice and stuff. I do, because I have to sacrifice in other areas of my life, in my relationship and stuff like that. But the things that I can control, oh, you best believe I'ma make it work for me. I don't like struggle. And let me put myself, you can call me privileged, you can call me whatever. But for example, like this year, I've spent the whole of this year resting. I've worked on stuff. I work on TMS. I work on like collaborations that I think are really cool. I work on my hair company from time to time. But even that, knowing that as soon as I feel like something is no longer serving me or is stretching me past the point of growth into a place of toxicity and detriment towards me and harm, I'm not going to engage. Why? Because I think that's one thing. The concept of labor, I have had to really reframe it in my mind as to why am I hustling so hard? And am I because when you're working, you're not just working for money, you're giving away time. Exactly. And I want to know I'm giving away time for things that are worthwhile. And I know that that's going to sound very problematic because not everyone is in a position to do that. And I completely understand that. There's a time to have to grind and work and shut your eyes and be like, I have to do something I don't like to get over it. And I've been there. I've actually done that. 100. I've been working since I was like, 13, 14 years old. So I've done that. But I think one thing that I've learned this year personally is, like you said, I only want to work on things I like. And I'm going to try my best to be as smart as possible to make sure that the work that I am doing works for me and serves people and still brings me in money. And that has required a lot of intelligence and tact and being as wise and as smart as possible, but also leaning on other people's knowledge and expertise. And like you said, getting around people who are also doing that and are where I want to be and who can help pull me forward so that I can learn more about the possibilities that are open to me. And I encourage you, sis, like get in those kind of environments, listen to those kinds of people, because for the last, I think 2 years, my mind has been constantly expanding to things that I never even knew were actually possible. Levels of wealth, but also levels of freedom that I never knew were possible. And I think that that's what's been highlighted to me as important. I like my freedom. I like the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I want to work on this. I don't want to work on that. I want to rest. I want to give my time to my friends. I want to bake myself some dinner. Like I want to do all of these things that are according to my terms, right? That's what I've learned too.
Oh, that's so, so beautiful, Courtney, honestly. And I think also just off the back of that, trying to not feel guilty about wanting to make money from doing what
Talk on it, please.
Because this whole dichotomy, and we've spoken about this in some of our previous episode, insofar as hustle culture and all of that kind of stuff, passion versus pay, one of our previous episodes. But many of us feel guilty about making money in general, but more so guilty about making money from things we actually enjoy doing. I think we actually need to normalize that.
It should actually be the more normal thing.
That. It's weird. Isn't it strange that many of us think it's okay to make money from things that we actually genuinely hate or genuinely don't enjoy doing? But when it comes to things that we do like doing, we just we shove them under this whole idea of passion and think that it's not worthy of making money, or because I like this can't be considered labor. Just because you like an activity, it doesn't mean that it can't be considered as labor, because you're still delivering impact and value to other people. And I think it kind of reminds me of like conversations that we have around, like, for example, content creation. A lot of people like to undermine content creation as a form of labor, when really there's a lot of work that goes into doing it. Just because I like doing the thing doesn't mean that I'm not putting work into making it actually pop off. And I think opening your mind to the possibility of I can actually work but also enjoy is important, because some of us are chasing, salaries, we're chasing all of these careers and all of these things, not realizing that, hang on a second, there is scope for me to exist in this world doing something I actually enjoy. I just need to find a smart way of how I can make income from it. And that's fine. That's it. It's okay to make money, sis. You need it.
Please liberate yourself from the idea that you must be broke. It's or you must struggle for finances. I love what you're saying about reframing your idea about passion and labor, because a lot of us have got caught in the trap of, because I don't see my passion as work, it's then come and robbed your time of rest. Because now your side hustles have come and filled every other hour that you have outside of your 9 to 5, or every other hour that you have outside of your main job. And actually it is still work, right? Like we tell ourselves, oh, okay, I'm going to rest. I have the weekend off. But now your weekend is for the thing that you're passionate about. And it's not that you shouldn't spend extra time on your passions. And like I said, it's not that we don't believe in sacrifice, because we do. It's that you still need time to rest, and you still need time where you can separate work from life, and pouring into your personal life, pouring into your physical well-being, all of that. Because I've been there, and I think that that's the reason why I keep harping on about it. I've done the toxic hustle culture stuff. I've done the balanced 17 side hustles at the same time to make, 7 streams of income. And it can get very tiring when you don't know how to make the main thing, when you don't know how to make work and play.
Yeah.
So really learn to actually, I'm passionate about this, but I still labor. And that's a key thing I need everyone to remember.
Boy.
It's still work.
You're still working. Yeah. And I think that's actually a fantastic segue. I feel like I haven't said segue in a minute.
You haven't. Maybe you have, but you haven't.
It feels, God, it's been a minute. I think that's actually a beautiful segue into this whole conversation around like what you think are some of the biggest financial mistakes you've made this year. Jesus. Yeah, man. Like,
I'm just thinking, how transparent do I want to go?
I'm screaming.
I was going to start another business this year.
Yeah.
Invested money into it.
Yeah.
Lost all that money. Yeah. I didn't do my did I not? I did my due diligence, but I was basically scammed. That was, and I think the reason why I'd call it a mistake and not just like I was a victim is because I was too hasty. I was too quick. And I think I've done that in another instance where I've invested into certain avenues and certain ways of investing. Like I started investing in crypto this year, and I think I wasn't too knowledgeable. I wasn't knowledgeable enough before I started doing it. But I don't regret that I did it, because it's actually paying off. So, but I would say, like, thinking back on it now, it was like, oh, you were moving quite reckless and quite fast. So I would say, like, just out of wisdom, if I had the chance to do it again, I would take a bit more time. And I am one of those people who, because of eagerness, because of like excitement, and also because I am those people who I'm comfortable with risk. And I think sometimes to my own detriment, I'm very comfortable with risk. So it's kind of like, oh, let me do this. It's like, sis, you don't have to rush. It's not going anywhere. Take time to educate yourself. So I think doing the work around education is actually really important. Taking time to read more about specific things and not just the general gist of things, because it's like, oh, invest your money, but then it's like, but where? And like, what are the pros and cons, and what actually works and aligns with your goals when you do it? That only comes with knowledge, and that only comes with time, kind of, or effort rather. I would say maybe another financial mistake that I've made. No, I'm pretty happy with how I've behaved this year. Pretty happy. Good. Not gonna lie.
Not behaved.
I'm happy with the way I've behaved this year. I think I've done myself proud this year. But I will say that main thing about not being too hasty is actually really important, because you don't want to end up in wanting to do things with the right intentions, good intentions, shooting yourself in the foot. So definitely take your time.
Yeah. No, I hear that. That's a really, really good lesson.
How about yourself?
I think similarly to you, I'm relatively happy with my financial welfare generally. I think where I would have liked to have been a bit more a little bit more comprehensive, robust, and all that, is with the extra money I made. I didn't expect to make the amount of extra money that I was making at certain points in like the year, and I was kind of stumped as to what to do with it. So some of it will, go into the savings, but I think in hindsight, I should have a plan as to, if I am going to make extra money, what percentage of what is going, because I had the whole budgeting for like my main income down. I was like, yep, this 30% here, 40% here, But when I was making like, say, an extra grand, it's like, oh,
where do I put this?
Yeah. And I definitely was Minister of Enjoyment at some point.
That's me in the month of August. Oh my days.
I saw
Lock me in my house.
I saw a tweet that was like, my budget for September
is £50.
£2.50, sis.
£2.50. They said, like, give me 10 pence a day, I'll be all right.
He said, I can't even go outside my house because you breathe and you spend £10. I was just
Listen,
like,
September, you'll find me to my sister's podcast, My House, Rice and Stew. That's where you'll find me because I don't have the budget for September.
Fam,
I don't.
to all my friends listening, don't invite me anywhere. Unless it's to your house, and even then, it needs to be within a certain distance because transport costs like,
Don't ask me to come to Zone 6. I don't want to come to Zone 6.
Don't kill me. I'm sorry, these are the zones that we can travel in the month of September because
Zone 1 to 4.
Because the thing is, you'll think, oh, okay, cool, I'll just do better next month. The next month appears. And you don't. Nah, the next 4 months, I'm on a radical I can't come. I'm so sorry. We're eating ice.
I'm going to WizKid. That's my halfway mark. And then December, I'm going to Ghana.
Do you know
and that's
what?
it.
Okay, so here's the thing. We can even talk about our experience with buying WizKid tickets, yeah? Because we don't call it a mistake because that will never be a mistake in my eyes.
Ever. Did you see the deluxe album that he dropped? The extra songs. I said, Ayo, come on, give it to them.
Oh my God. So yeah, certain tickets were maybe fairly expensive or not within the budget that we have for our financial goals. So I think, yeah, basically being a bit more realistic with,
life is
having,
enjoying.
This is the thing. I think that's the key. I wouldn't say this is a mistake, but it's more of an ongoing process of assessing what is worth spending money on and how much, to what extent.
Yeah.
So something like WizKid, I don't regret that. I will be shaking a leg in November. I don't regret it.
How can there be regret?
Stop it.
How can there be regret?
I'm going to be shaking a leg, but understanding that, okay, this has an impact on other things that I'm trying to save up for or other things that I'm doing and being okay with that too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'll do this instead of this, or like I'll spend money on this, like, experience, but then an event will come up and it's like, oh, I actually allocated part of that budget for my clothes.
Yeah.
So I have to understand that I need to go and find something in my wardrobe and remove the PLT app when the time comes because you can't spend money on that.
Facts.
So understanding the trade-offs between some of your financial decisions, both in the moment, but also past the moment, I think is something that is an ongoing process and something that I've still been like trying to figure out, especially with some of the financial commitments and goals that I have over the next few years. It's like, okay, Renee, Minister of Enjoyment, but also Minister of Stewardship. How do we balance
the stewardship part? Heavy on the stewardship part because I think this year has been the year where I've invested in my craft and in myself the most. Mm-hmm. I really invested in myself and my craft and my future, and I don't regret that. Like, as much as I've saved the most, I've probably spent the most this year, and I think it's been smart spending. And even like what you're saying about the WizKid tickets, even doing that, I was spending on something that I know I'm going to enjoy. I know it's a memory for me and my friends. I know if I had not gone, I would have been upset because the opportunity cost, priceless. God, don't let Boris mess this one up for me.
Oh boy.
And so I feel like in that I've realized what matters to me.
Yeah, like that.
And I think as much as I've decided money matters to me, I have to decide what my money goes to because other things matter more to me. Absolutely. And exchanging it for money is fine. Absolutely. And I think that that's something we all need to then be comfortable with and sit in, because investing in yourself, investing in your career, investing in your future, it really is worth it.
I love that. And I think just lastly, one thing that I would also say is getting comfortable saying no to things and saying no to like my friends. Because I think sometimes we can be so afraid of like, oh, I'm going to miss out on this experience or miss out on this friend or retete. With some of the things I'm trying to do in the next few years, I can't be brunching every weekend.
Yeah.
I can't be doing up enjoyment every single
Facts.
week. So even being comfortable enough to value myself and value and respect these goals and setting those key boundaries. We talked about boundaries in our last episode. Go and watch it.
Go and watch that.
Finances is also a key boundary.
Yeah. Telling
people, I'm saving up for this. I can't see you here this weekend. Let's do something cheaper. I'm very.
Or let's just FaceTime.
No money.
You don't need to physically see everyone.
No money. Oh,
like let's the blessing that 2020 gave us was everyone became fine with virtual.
Yeah.
Virtually, let's catch up virtually. Call me, FaceTime me, Zoom me, DM me, send me things. Let's bond over sending each other memes. But don't ask me to go out every single week. It's too much. Unless we're getting chicken and chips each time, I can't. I'm sorry. I apologize. Even sometimes like with friends' birthdays and stuff, if it's not in the budget, because you love them, hustle harder, take on an overtime shift to be able to do it. But if you don't want to do that, respectfully, I love you. I'll find another way to make it up for you. I'll maybe send you a gift card that's cheaper than me going, but I can't afford it. And I think we shouldn't also shame our sisters who say that. Just be like, I completely. And in fact, if you really want me to be there, pay for me. If you got the money like that, pay,
Since
please.
You're the one that's stacking, I believe.
Because I've done that for some of my friends. And some of my friends have done that for me, even more importantly, where it's like, oh, you can't, don't worry, I've got you. Come, because we want you to be there. And we understand your goals. And because we want your presence more than we do your money, we'll sponsor you.
Like when I say the amount of like grace some of my friends have shown
it's
me
beautiful.
Is fantastic. Literally, I think it was the month of June or July. I was saving up for something major, and I remember telling a couple of my friends, like I had like dinners and stuff like that. I remember a specific dinner where I told my two friends that I was gonna hang with, I can't come because I'm saving up for X, and they were like, that's ridiculous, you need to come, we'll pay for dinner. And then when I went to dinner with them, I was even trying to do the whole, you know what, it's fine, I'll just pay for it. The way sis swiped my card so quickly, she said, don't bring that thing out. And I was just like,
ever do that again.
Guys need to have this energy too. No, I'm trolling.
But it's true.
It's true. But even that, being able to share with your friends, like, look, this is something that I care about in my life, and it's really, really big. And like, I am like willing to accommodate, like, you guys go and have fun without me. Give your friends the opportunity to support you financially as well. I don't think we do that enough, you know. Yes. I don't think we do that enough.
And of course, that's not saying put unrealistic and unhealthy expectations on people. They should not be paying for you to go out all the time, all of that. But at the same time, when you express goals, I think, and this isn't even about expectation. This is more so we're telling you, be that friend that pays for your friend if she says, I'm saving for XYZ. Because then if we all take that, then at least when we are in need, we know we have people around us who will give. I think that's a better way to put it. Like, sis, become that friend that says, because I know you have that goal, I've got you. Become that. We challenge you to do that.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. It's a nice thing.
That's beautiful. But I guess in terms of like closing out the episode, I'm thinking about the practical ways that we can manage our money over the next 4 months. Miss Courtney, what's your top tips for the sisters on glowing up financially?
Create a system for your money, baby. Okay. You have to create a system for your money. Intention and desire and thoughts alone will not get you to your goal.
Not thoughts.
The thoughts alone will not get you to. I was
thinking about saving, but
that's not gonna get you there, beloved. You actually need a system for your money. Having a standing order to my savings account has helped me. Having a standing order to or a direct debit to pay off my credit cards has helped me build my credit my credit score tremendously. Knowing what cards to tap when, because not every card has the same budget, that's for sure. And also just even within my own business, what are the different avenues and different things that I can explore that will bring me more money? Let me diversify. Let me try something new, because it's easy with your money to get caught in a cycle and not challenge yourself. Even if the cycle's good and it's working, not challenge yourself to do that little bit extra or to do something new that could be more fruitful and also more enjoyable. So I would definitely say, like, find the system that works for you, constantly revisit that system, but put a system towards your money, because it's easy to just know what you know and have a desire to save more, but how are you practically going to make sure that definitely happens? Another practical tip, I think, just generally with where the economy is right now and stuff like that, upskill. Like, please go and look for another relevant skill that you could offer to people, whether it's for a side hustle, also that you can get a promotion in your job, or move to a different industry and feel altogether so you can make more money. Upskill, learn new skills, constantly improve in your knowledge, constantly become better. For example, even my own mother, shout out to you, Mumsy, I'm so proud of you.
We love you,
my
Auntie.
own mum this year, she has really upped her own career and has hit saving goals that I'm even looking at. I'm like, big goals.
Come on.
Big goals.
Energy.
Auntie?
Come on.
Well, you guys is auntie, my mom. She's doing bits. And I'm like, to be, over 60, my mom is mature, and to say, I'm going to go hard in my career and I'm going to stack because I have this goal. Ooh, the sacrifices she's made, but also the way she's applied herself has really taught me a lot in terms of just because you've been a career over for a long time, it doesn't mean you can't refresh some things and put a new expectation on yourself so that you can live up to, stretch yourself and live up to a new goal. And so it's been really inspiring to see. And I've taken that as wisdom for the next 4 months. And hopefully that also blesses you.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Shout out auntie, man. I'm so proud of her. But no, I really, really love those tips. And I guess just to add on my end, practical tips on glowing up financially. Where you can, work with people.
Go there. No. I don't care about the time. You talk more about that because that has been one of the best collaboration.
Work with people. You can't do this alone. If you have like a big idea, or if you have like a side hustle you're working on, or if you want to do something or hit a particular financial target, see if you can work with somebody in your community or someone in your friendship group. And I think also one thing that I've definitely learned is it doesn't always have to be a partner that you invest in things with, right? You can invest in stuff with your friends. Like, think about it. There's so much you can achieve when everyone puts their money together for a particular thing. And one thing I actually love about our friendship group, we've been doing this from early, insofar as like, even when we were young, we used to do this thing where when it's somebody's birthday, we would put in like £2 or £3 of our pocket money to buy a bigger gift. Yeah. Take that mentality, and we still do it now, where it's like we'll put in a certain amount and the gift that we can get is phenomenal. Yeah. What are the kind of gifts that you want to manifest in your life that require community investment? How can you get people that you know and trust, that you're friends or in platonic relationships with, to also invest in? It might be like, as you said, TMS is such a beautiful example of that. The fact that both of us are investing our time, our efforts, our finances, literally everything into this to make it what it is. Yeah. What are the key things in your life that require the momentum of community powered finance? And really think about it, because I'm telling you, it is so nice to have someone like Courtney to lean on for something like this. I could not even imagine. Oh God, I couldn't do this without you. Listen, life anyway, I couldn't do life without you. To be honest with you, that's quite frank. But that's so good, because it's not even just about the money. The opportunities that have come through some of my friends, leaning on and leveraging their network, because you don't have to know everything in the world. You don't need to know everyone in the world, but you need to know someone who knows someone, and you need to know someone who knows something. The amount of opportunities just from having conversations, even in like the last like month or two for me, having conversations with some of my friends or acquaintances and making it known that I'm trying to do XYZ. It's like, alarm bells will go off in their head, and they're like, I can connect you with this person or this opportunity or this, that. Get out of your head when it comes to money and opportunities. Get out of your head that you have to do this alone. Yeah. You don't have to. Yes, you have your own individual goals that you may be saving up for, and the way that you like to do things individually, but there's just so much that comes from leveraging the people around you. We've always said this in so many of our like different episodes, but life, you're not meant to do that alone. Yeah. And money, you also don't need to do that alone. Yeah. So that's definitely a big thing that I would say in terms of practically start getting comfortable having conversations with the people around you about money. That's definitely big. And then I guess in the next 4 months, I would definitely challenge you to be a bit more radical with your money as well. Like, what are you actually spending it on? Yeah. And why? So like really understanding the psychology of money as well is a practical tip that I would give you. Why do you buy what you buy? Why do you invest in what you invest in? Understand your relationship with money, because when we get to like 2022, sis, we're going to be making big money moves, and we can't have this whole, I've done this. We don't want to hear no excuses. Do you understand? Like in terms of even the content that we're trying to put out and the things that we're trying to do in 2022, sis, come correct. And also start laying those foundations. Like even if you feel like, because I feel like
2022 for us, for example, it's a radical building season. But 2020 and 2021 were foundations. Let's dig deep and uncover these bad habits. And then like things like establishing your credit score, it's a foundational thing. Do you get what I mean? And so before you look to do these big things, if you feel like I don't make enough money yet, I don't actually know what my goals are. Maybe you're one of our little sisters, or maybe you're just like, I haven't really thought much about that. I've just been working. Start doing the foundational stuff, you know, with what you can.
For sure. But sisters, if there's any other practical tips that you might have when it comes to the money,
you already know.
The GBP, dollar, yen, insert currency here. Please leave a comment below on our YouTube.
Yes.
And if you're watching this podcast and you haven't already subscribed, we're trying to make big money moves together, which is why we're trying to build this community as big as it can possibly get.
You already know.
So do us a favor, do yourself a favor, do your sisters a favor, and subscribe. And for those of you that are listening on Spotify, Google, Apple, come hop on over to YouTube, subscribe. But also continue to support, and we really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. And the conversation also continues on social media, because
you already
guess
know.
what? We got our Instagram. And our Instagram is really popping, if I do say so myself.
It is indeed.
The content that we share there, as well as some of the memes. They be hitting.
They do.
And you can do that by following us on Instagram @ToMySisterhood. And of course, you can follow us individually to hear more about our own individual and I guess collaborative money moves. That's CD Watting and @Renee Kapuku.
We love to see it. You can also @ us on Twitter @ToMySisterhood, and of course use the hashtag #ToMySisters. If you haven't already joined the mailing list, you're just playing yourself, because we really share a lot of resources, like you were talking about, in terms of the books that we read, the podcasts we listen to, the things that we think will help you in terms of resources get sent straight to your inbox. So sign up to the mailing list at tomysisters.com. Do not play yourself.
Absolutely.
But sisters, we bid you another farewell.
I do.
And we hope that this has helped you, blessed you, helping you stack up your money and glow up financially, because it's important. But we will talk to you in our next juicy episode.
That's right.
If you are going to miss us between now and then, head over to YouTube and check out TMS Plus, which comes out every Wednesday and Friday.
Not the extras.
Oh, all the extras. We serve everything up with sides.
Can I get that with some mushrooms,
there
some
you go.
lettuce,
there
some tomatoes?
And, we've got it all. Call us Subway. Oh, yes. Scalp dragging.
Not call us Subway.
Subway,
we want all the
us.
trimmings.
Please sponsor us, because the
Subway,
way.
we
Lord.
Subway. We do. We really do. Them cookies, y'all.
Ooh.
If you can send me those macadamia nut cookies, the white chocolate ones, I'll send you my P.O. box. If you want to send me that for Christmas. Anyways. Please, take us out.
Sister, we will let you enjoy the rest of your day and your week. We'll talk to you very soon. And as always, keep glowing and growing.